Alright, so we're going to be discussing today Illuminatus, what it is to become past Illuminati. And I'm going to be using some pictures to show you over here on my computer for you guys to understand what it is. Now, before we get, or I get too far into this, I'm just going to say one thing about this. Pearls of wisdom will not be given to swine. And that's it. I'll stop with that. So this is the picture I'm going to be using as the master chart for you right here. And I'll be able to zoom in and zoom out on my computer. You can see me moving. So I'll just let you look at it a little bit. We're just going to be talking about what you see before you. We're going to be coming from a neutral standpoint of the description of what you're seeing. And like I said, I can zoom into anything on the computer, so we'll have plenty of time. But this is what we're going to be talking about a little bit for you. See? This is all we're going to be talking about, is stuff like this. And it's really not that complicated, so I don't be like, oh no, here we go. But yeah, so we're going to be discussing what this is and what it means after you become illuminated, what the next step would be, and how this entails towards whoever is watching this asking questions about what it is that we all want to know about life. So, with that said, let's go ahead and start this sucker. If you look on the left and the right, you'll see a tree on the left, and on the right you'll see what looks like a valley, and in the middle you'll see a beautiful woman half naked. So we'll start with these 3 points. The left is a tree that has apples on it. That's symbolic of the fruit of God. If you look, there's a K on there, and I can even zoom in, or luckily my cameraman's pretty good, or camerawoman I should say. And if you look on the right hand side past the woman, if you scroll over, you'll see a valley with the moon at the top of it. You see the moon right there, a little valley? And now what I want you to do is, if you look in the valley, you'll see some trees, and amongst the trees you're going to see some crosses. I'm going to zoom in to help the cameraman out. So go ahead, you see the little crosses right here? There's one right there. There's a cross right here. There's a cross right there. See them, the crosses in the valley, and the little road, and there you go. So this is symbolic of the shadow valley. And the moon represents death, being the center point right here. But on the left-hand side of the screen, you have a tree that symbolizes life. So here we have life and death through the valley of the shadow of death. Not to go biblical, but there you kind of understand where I'm going. If you'll notice, you've got the trees over here that stands for the wilderness, but the path of knowledge of God, the fruit, will take you to, and if you look, there's even a little guideline, kind of like a little trace you can go down to. That is until you hit the volcano that's going to destroy you, that is. But if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll notice that this motif is talking about life after death. This side is now becoming the death side, the volcano, and if you look, there's 3 grim reapers that are praying. And if you scroll to the right over again, you'll see some more people over here praying, except now they're alive. See, their faces are there. They are still alive. The symbols of life after death. If you look, there's the sacrifice on the triangle, which is a fish, or the Piscean age if you want to go there. And now go over to the other side, and you'll notice a snake eating itself. The snake is symbolic of eternity, infinity, and in the middle is a little box. That box is Sanctum Sanctorium. So we're already now in the middle part of the picture. Let's not go too further now. We're going to bring this all together for you now. So now you have this beautiful woman right here before you. She is the light bearer, the bringer of light. She is God's perfection in man. She is basically perfection. She is man and woman put together. She has a yin and yang around her neck to symbolize balance and polarity, light and darkness. On her forehead is obviously the all-seeing eye, the eye of God, the messenger of God. And behind her head there looks to be clouds, and those clouds are symbolic of omniness in everything that omniness can be prescribed to. And if you look at her right hand, you'll see it's shaped like a pyramid, or a compass, perhaps one could say. And I'm going to scroll on a little bit because I want to show you something that's written under her. It's written upside, it's actually written 3 times, 2 upside down, 1 right side up. You can kind of see the wording right there. What that wording says basically is Rhodas Sator Square is what this means, and it's written backwards, forwards, and upside down. I'm not going to think for you, but do a little research if you want. It's kind of interesting. Now that we've delineated basically the top half of this screen, I want you to know she's also sitting on a triangle to signify Trinity. 3, 3, 3, a sacred number. So, now, when we're talking of things of this nature, it's important to always keep in mind, as above, so below. We're living in a dualistic nature, and to keep this short, we're now going to jump on to the other side of this picture, which is where the fun actually begins now. So obviously it looks like there's a lot going on, and there is, because we're talking about infinity, space, we're talking about God creation. It's pretty cool stuff. And I could easily zoom in and talk a lot about what's in front of us, but I just want to keep it short and sweet. So let's go ahead and start with this pentagram. Let's start with the numbers. You got Roman numerals 1 to 5 is what you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Can you get that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit for you, so you can see what I'm talking about. Now I want to count something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of these mystic beings before you that you're graced to see represents a point on that seal of Solomon, we'll say, just to keep things in perspective on where we're at. And each one of them is there to guide you, and I'm going to tell you the procession of their order. Starting with the male, right here, the man, he's 1. He symbolizes femininity and love. If you look, there's the Ankh on fire right here. And if you look also to the left, he's got a cross on his belt right here. There's the Ankh, and then there's more of the Christian consciousness that we're more familiar with to keep things in relevant time. So I'm going to zoom up a little bit more because it looks kind of hard to see it. So there you go. Can you see it now? The cross right there? Can you see it? Yeah, cool. So there's the cross, and there's the Ankh signaling peace, love, and divinity, and unity, all that cool stuff. And then you have us to be on a mass awareness, and that's just what this guy represents, to keep it in a nutshell. And each one of these has their own story, obviously. But to keep things in perspective, like I said, where we're going with this is we're going from the male, the 1, he's going to start you on your journey, the man. Then you're going to go to the 2, the mystic over here, the mystic, the magi, the druid, the scholar right here. I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit, give you some detail about him. Check him out, he's pretty cool, huh? A lot of sacred imagery going on in here. But just to keep it in perspective, like I said, there's a 2 right here. He's holding up a peace sign to symbolize 2, and his fingers are also representative of 2 as well. See the 2, 1, 2. Now, to kind of play around a little bit, let's go ahead and let your eyes follow this little vein thing down, follow the arrow, and if you notice you follow the arrow, it's going to take you into a hand. Do you see what I've just done? You're now inside this little hand that you may have not have seen before, but now you can see it. See, I'm actually in a hand that's pointing to the right towards the stair. Do you see it? Rock and roll. Cool. So now we're going to go to the 3rd one, and the 3rd one is the goat scholar. The beginning of light coming into through the darkness right here. This is what he's representation of. And if you notice, he's writing in a book. Okay, the book is kind of, it was very esoteric actually. However, what I'll do is I'll flip it around so I'll read it to you out loud so you can kind of see it. But obviously it's a little hard to read in English, so just bear with me. So I'm going to read it. I'm just going to flip the picture upside down for you guys. And I'm going to zoom back in so you can see it. Alright. So it said, open quote, "It lumbered slobberingly into sight and gropingly squeezed its gelatinous greed immensely through the black doorway. A mountain walked or stumbled." That's on the first page. And the second page up top it says, "And in fear I," and the word is not completely finished, but with accuracy and using intuition, I'm pretty sure that last word is spoke. So it says, "And in fear I spoke." And if you notice, he's drawing a triangle, or he's an incomplete pentagram is what it is. And if you look around, there's only room notes for 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're staying with me a little bit, you should see some resemblance already in what we've already discussed. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out, and we'll keep on going. So now we're back out. So now we've gone to the third. Now we're going to go to the fourth. And the fourth is this guy that looks like a squid or an octopus. He's the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he has his own story as well, but he's basically bringing the unseen into the seen now. If you look, he's kind of coming out of the void of nothingness, to keep it in easy terms for us. And so let's go to the fifth, because there's one last one. Obviously the fifth would be this elephant god deity in form. Now you can't see he has any hands or fingers, but what he does have and the others don't is tusks. And if you count, there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, the 5th isn't really a tusk, it's his trunk, but you see the symbolic 5 in there. And if you even look on his tusks, there's these little stars, the blazing stars of light. And there's 2 of them that represent a trinity. And let's go ahead and follow where the deity's trunk goes. It now goes into what appears to be a triangle with a maze in it and fire coming out. Basically, the triangle is symbolic of the messenger of God. That K and the Y are symbolic, and that the K is the secret knowledge of God. If you rewind this video and look at the K, it's very significant of the tree on the top left-hand corner. The Y is symbolic of the light bearer of God. We'll leave it at that because I'm not going to think for you. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and obviously this goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But what I want to get to you is, after you've done all the delineation and thinking and playing around and exploring your mind, there's an eye right here to symbolize the eye of God, and I want you to look around how there's like what looks like to be tentacles or slithering or eyes, or perhaps reptilian eyes. You see that? It's all kind of like little snakes and slithering. Like if you look right here, here's a sperm penetrating an egg to symbolize creation. The pyramids right here. And don't worry, I'm tying this all in, so I'm not just going to leave you hanging. You have eggs right here. See the little eggs? You have what appears to be an 8. This is significant of infinity, perfection, creation. You have over here to the left what looks like circles after circles after circles being cut by a ruler. This is symbolic of planets or space right here. The ruler is measurement of time. Time is on the other side to the right over here. You've now seen time and space. See how you're looking down at something? Now it is space, time and space. The eggs are symbolic of creation. Now what lays eggs? Reptiles come to mind for me. You have these 2 angels right here which are guarding the secret Ark of the Covenant. And we'll leave that alone. That's a lot of information to say. and go up the pyramid, each little step meaning something to a degree or right. And you come to what appears to be a pentagram, hexagram, sectagram with the triangle in it. This is symbolic of the message of God in her perfect form. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom this picture out, because now I'm going to show you where that perfect form can also be found. Look around the woman. If you notice, you'll see a star around her. She is the perfection of God. See it going around her? I'll scroll back down for referencing purposes. That's right here. And there it is. Okay, now for all the questions that are going to be asked and answered, or not answered, well, they will be answered in right time. I want to show you other pictures that can describe this to you and save a lot of time for people if you're still interested in what I have to say or what you should be self-exploring yourself. Each one of these are a delineation of that, what I just gave you. If you need answers, go to these images and symbols for guidance. Each one of these is telling you a story in a different way, but they all have the same meaning to a certain extent. Actually, they do all have the meaning. They're all harmonious and in conjunction when you have them free-flowing and doing what it is they need to be doing to properly help you become Illuminatus. And the last one, I want to scroll in on this one for you. Oops. Well, that's okay. I'll leave it at that. You can do it yourself. So there's my little delineation of what that is you have before you, or perhaps just an explanation of that. And that's really about all I can really say, for now at least. So go ahead and seek Metatron and always walk in the light.